The real cost of freedom. Ask anyone what they want from life. The answer almost always contains the same word: freedom. Freedom from the alarm clock. Freedom from the commute. Freedom from the meeting they did not ask for on a Tuesday morning. Freedom from the feeling that their time belongs to someone else. Everyone wants it. Almost nobody has priced it. And that is not an accident. Because the moment you price freedom, really price it honestly on paper, two things happen simultaneously. It becomes less abstract, and it becomes more possible. Most people never get to either of those things, because they never do the calculation. And they never do the calculation because somewhere underneath the surface, they are afraid of what the number might say. This video is that calculation. The problem with how you define freedom. Before you can price freedom, you have to be honest about what you actually mean by it. Because most people are trying to buy a feeling they saw in an advertisement. The beach, the yacht, the morning with nowhere to be. The life that looks like a highlight reel. That is not freedom. That is consumption with a better backdrop. Real freedom is structural. It is not a location or a lifestyle. It is a condition. The condition of your time no longer being owned by an obligation you did not choose. That is it. That is the whole definition. Not rich, not retired, not traveling indefinitely. Simply this: your time is yours. You decide what it is worth. You decide where it goes. No external system has a prior claim on it. When you define freedom that way, not as a feeling but as a structural condition, the question changes entirely. It stops being, "How do I get there?" and becomes, "What does it actually cost to maintain that condition for the rest of my life?" That is a question you can answer. So let us answer it. The freedom number. Your freedom number is the amount of money your life requires to run, every month, every year, without you actively working to generate it. Not your current expenses, not what you spend now while you are employed, your actual life, fully loaded, every cost visible. Start with your monthly essentials: housing, food, utilities, transport, insurance, healthcare. Write that number down. Now add your actual life, not the survival version, the life you would actually live if you were free. Add that number. Now add the costs your employer currently absorbs: pension contributions, health coverage, professional costs. Add that number. Now multiply the total by 12. That is your annual freedom number. Now here's the question that matters. What would it take to generate that number, reliably, consistently, without you working for it? Your freedom number is not an estimate. It is a precise target. Most people have never calculated it. You just did. Now the real question begins. What needs to exist on the other side of that scale to make it balance? The capital behind the number. There is a principle in long-term financial planning called the safe withdrawal rate. The most widely referenced figure is 4%. What it means in practical terms is this: if you have a portfolio of assets generating returns, you can withdraw approximately 4% of its value per year without depleting the principal over a 30-year period. That means to generate your freedom number sustainably, you need assets worth approximately 25 times your annual freedom number. Let that land. If your freedom number is $60,000 a year, you need $1.5 million in productive assets. If your freedom number is $100,000 a year, you need $2.5 million. If your freedom number is $150,000 a year, you need $3.75 million. This is not to intimidate you. This is to replace a vague aspiration with a precise target. Because here is what changes when you have a real number. You stop chasing the feeling and start building toward the structure. The number is not the ceiling. It is the map. Why people avoid the calculation? You might be watching this and feeling something uncomfortable right now. Not because the math is wrong, because it is right. And the gap between where you are and what the number says is larger than you wanted it to be. That discomfort is the reason most people never do this calculation. It is easier to keep the goal abstract, to say one day, to keep freedom as a feeling you are moving toward rather than a number you are building toward. Because an abstract goal cannot disappoint you. A real number can. But here is what the avoidance actually costs you. Every year you spend without a clear target is a year your decisions are not aligned with your actual objective. The gap does not close by itself, and the longer you look away from it, the wider it gets. The calculation is not the bad news. The calculation is the beginning of the work. Closing the gap. The question is never whether the gap is closable. For almost everyone watching this, it is. The question is what closes it, and the answer is not working harder at what you already do. You cannot earn your way to a freedom number by optimizing an income that stops the moment you do. What closes the gap is the shift we talked about in the last video. Moving from earning to owning. Building assets that compound, systems that produce, positions that do not require your daily presence to maintain their value. Every decision you make with money either moves you closer to your freedom number or maintains the distance. There is no neutral. Spending without building, distance maintained. Saving without deploying, distance maintained. Building ownership, gap closes. Freedom is not a feeling you stumble into. It is a condition you build toward, deliberately, structurally, with a clear understanding of exactly what it costs. Most people will never price it, not because they cannot afford to think about it, because thinking about it makes it real, and real things require real decisions. Your assignment before the next video is simple. Build your freedom number, honestly, fully loaded, no rounding down to make it feel more comfortable. Write it down. Because the next video is about the mechanism that most people overlook entirely. The one asset that is being spent whether you are building with it or not. Time. We will see you then.